Do you believe that public relations can't be measured?
Bonjour. Hello, everyone. I'm Nata, host of the Nata PR School podcast. You're a successful entrepreneur or marketing manager, and you're about to launch a new product or service, or you've been selling your goods for quite some time, but you want to learn how to increase your visibility, get known, and reach more clients? At Nata PR, we deal with real clients every day, and we'll teach you simple, fun, and honest PR solutions. You'll learn easy steps to combine PR to social media right now. Keep listening and let's get started.
Bonjour, hello, and welcome to episode 114 of the Nata PR School podcast. Public relations myth number one: PR can't be measured. This is something we hear so often. Well, my friends, in the marketing world, we're all bound to performance, right? We have to measure. So everybody has their matrix, and public relations is no exception. We have to measure our results. So return on investment, and the famous ROI, is part of our daily routine. No exception. So it's completely untrue, false, to think that public relations can't be measured. Public relations can be measured. However, it is true that there are many ways to measure success, as it is for, PR, publicity campaign. But in marketing, obviously, you measure your sales, but there are some other key indicators, and this is where PR can't be measured in many ways. You can choose different objectives. And it's like advertising. Of course, it's not a definite science, but there are tons of numbers you can measure. And so you have to consider public relation as a game. If you have, like me, founded a company, this is how I like to think about my company. There are set of rules that I set, of course, and government rules too. Like we all have to pay our taxes at one point. We have by law to pay our employees, for example. So there are all those rules that are part of the game. But the game is our game. So we created it. So if you have a company like me, you've created your own game. Sometimes I like to compare it to Monopoly. And I tell my employees, well, welcome to Nata. Thank you for joining me. And think of this company as having rules like a game. So we play a game together. Let's try to have fun, first of all, if you decide to join us. But this is what it is. And the fact that I see it as a game, I embrace all the other tasks that I don't really like all the time, like, accounting, finance, and all that, those fun tasks that we all have to go through when we own an agency or a company. All this to say that let's go back to this myth that people think or believe that PR can be measured, especially since everything online, if you do let's say a Facebook ad campaign, you get so much data on on your campaign, how many clicks, how many this, how many that, how many people, age, women, men, etc. So they think that you can't measure PR, which is so untrue. So, but you have to decide on what you want to be measured, because you can get lost, obviously. So, for example, you can decide to increase the number of people on your website, but you make sure you measure it before the campaign. So how often you're covered in the mainstream media, for example, too. That's another great goal. Like you want to be in top tier publication. And if you do a campaign on your own for the very first time, you can decide, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to accomplish. So let's say I want to be in 3 top publications, 2 magazines, 1 newspaper. This is really a great way to measure results. How often are you covered online too? So you want to know, you decide on a goal that I want to be featured in 10 websites. If you don't know At first, the first campaign, you can decide on smaller number because you're going to reduce the number of contacts, especially if you do the campaign on your own, as I teach you at the Nata PR School. But if you work with an agency like ours, we know. So we will tell you, yes, it's achievable. Yes, we've seen it. Yes, we can have like major feature in top newspaper, for example. We can probably have in this market, according to your category, your industry, 2 or 3. And you can decide on how much of the campaign you want to put on social media. How many influencers do you want to reach? And keep in mind that when you work with influencers, it's always about, especially if you do it the PR way, you want people to discover, you want influencers to discover your product. So you don't pay them right away. So you contact them, you say, we'd like what you do. We think you might be interested by our product. We'd like to know what you think about it. Some of them will maybe not like it. Let's say you send it to 10 influencers, maybe 3 will not like it, 3 will never get back to you, and then you have another 5, 6, 7 who might even mention it or present it in their stories, present it to their fans if they love what you send them. You can decide on how much your organic SEO increases. That could be an objective. So before the campaign and after the campaign, etc. So if you don't know, well, you can come to the school and do the program. But of course, you can also consult a PR expert. I'm there for you. If you want to reach out, you can send me an email, nata@natapr.com, of course. So let's go back to SEO just for a little bit, because this is where I feel public relations is so powerful nowadays, now that everybody focuses on the web. Now we're post-pandemic, for those who listen to this podcast in a few years. So public relations fits in with an SEO plan. Really, because this is the organic part of your SEO. So a conversion can simply be a great target you set to met on your website. So there are tons of ways to measure SEO. There are up to 13 key indicators, so you can go deep if you work with a specialist. But you can decide on very simple things. You can decide on, as I mentioned, increase the number of visits, your traffic on your website. It could also be about your content quality. It could be you decide to have a better conversion rate, more sales. Like you have more people, but you want to understand why you're not selling as much. Is it because your product is not well known? Cost per click, of course, and number of backlinks. And this is PR. PR, many websites will talk about you. They will indicate your website as a clickable link. So you see how precious and how powerful it can be to increase your SEO. So tons of ways to measure, but let's go back to just a small resume of what I mentioned. So you can decide, many things, but simply how many top media you want to reach. That can be one objective. You can also decide on coverage, how many coverage online. You can also decide on how many influencers you want to reach, how many visitors come to your website, and increase of your SEO. You can decide on a percentage, but you need to know it beforehand, of course. And some of our clients measure the success of our work by the number of times they appear in print and online women's magazines. Yes, online and in the printed magazine, especially beauty brands, fashion. So for them, magazines are still crucial. So the number of feature articles and interviews is another great indicator of the success of a campaign, and can set targets on each of them. You can decide on one or all of them. But, if you're a beginner, I would suggest, okay, I want to have 3 mention, 1 in the magazine, 1 in a newspaper. I want to have 1 influencer talk about me. Start small. And there's nothing wrong with that. And then you build from there. This is what I did when I first started alone on myself. And this is what I'm teaching you at the Nata PR School. But of course, I'm there for you if you want to reach out. And I don't know if you know, but we also have an Instagram account where I give and share tons of information that I share here, but sometimes in a different way. I do short videos. Yes, I do reels. And so you can go and look, and there's tons of fun information out there. So subscribe to our Instagram account, which is Nata PR School. Easy to find. You'll see my little face with my dog. So that's the right account. So hopefully I've change your mind if you were believing that public relations can't measure, because they can be measured 100% and different ways, which is fun, right? So have fun, play with PR. Hopefully you've had fun listening to this podcast. And as always, I hope you'll be joining me next week. À la semaine prochaine.
Hey, you want to learn more about how to implement PR strategies? Head on to natapr.com and get on our list. You will also receive the Nata PR model on how to create a successful PR campaign. If you want to become a client, just send us an email to nata@natapr.com. Talk to you next week. À la semaine prochaine.